Welcome to my next chess video here. This time I show you the game between Brainfish 170218, so the 17th of February of 2018, against Crafty 23.05. Brainfish is white and Crafty is black, and I let them play the Semish variation of the King's Indian defense. This arises after the moves d4, knight f6, c4, g6, knight c3, d6, e4, bishop to g7, the King's Indian, and now the move characterizes, the f3 characterizes the Semish variation of the King's Indian defense. I'm not an expert on this variation, but let's see, if black castles here, then you might have some attack with h4, g4 and stuff like this. But first of all, you have to develop your pieces, so probably bishop to d3 here. Now d4 maybe, and d5, knight to d7. Maybe I would play this, knight e2, knight e2, a4, bishop g5, probably h6, bishop to h4, and stuff like this. Yeah, we have the move castling by Crafty, and yeah, probably something like this, and white should be okay, and black also should be okay. Probably now something like knight here to attack the bishop moves back, and now maybe something like, I don't know, bishop to d7, because the bishop doesn't have a lot of squares. Now queen d2, c6 maybe, followed by castling, and b5, and black's attack is pretty fast here, but you can maybe win a pawn. And so I don't know about b5. I don't know about b5 here in this position, but you can go rook b8 to prepare b5, and now, for example, g4, b5, g5 takes, and you have a very nice h-file attack, but black has some attack of his own here on the b-file. So let's see what Brainfish comes up with here. But this seems pretty logical. What do you say about this? Pretty logical position here.
Yes, it is.
This is the live here it's the live game right here, and here is my analysis board. So yeah, thanks for the coffee, Simon.
Please.
Okay, what is Brainfish coming up with here? Something like this maybe, then h4 for example. Is it stark oder basta?
Ich will passt.
Okay. Simon is the man with the master plan. This is what I wanted to say here, because he really has the master plan. There is no doubt about it. Simon has the master plan. So h4, probably queen here, h5, queen there, threatening mate. Now the queen defends it. The mate threat. Okay, we have to move bishop d3 instead of all this, but this would be also quite logical. Quite a logical continuation. But we have the move bishop to d3 to e3 by Brainfish, and now it's Crafty's move again. What do you prefer? Which move should Crafty play here?
What?
Which move should Crafty play here? Crafty is black. Which move? Maybe knight bd7 or some other thing. a5 to stop b4 from black. What are Crafty's ideas? Maybe standard King's Indian ideas with e5 probably. What is Brainfish calculating? Crafty calculating. Crafty is calculating the move knight to c6. But what is after the move d5? Okay, the knight could hover in here, but then f4. Knight goes there. h3, and the knight goes to h6. And now g4 threatening g5. So black would have to do something against this, probably knight f to d7, but then this traps the knight. So this is not possible to go to e5 here. Well, you could go to e5, but then you have to go back to d7, and you could have gone to d7 immediately. So yeah. Also possible is to move bishop g4 now. This is probably why Brainfish is not playing this, attacking the queen. Now bishop here, bishop takes, knight takes, and now knight d7, and you get rid of this problem piece here. So probably after knight c6, yeah, we have to move queen d2. This is what I wanted to analyze next. Queen d2. Trying to go here to exchange this strong bishop. So maybe rook to e8 now. Bishop here and rook to h8. Bishop to h8, followed by e5 or something like this. But then white could castle queenside. e5, d5, knight here, and the bishop. No, the bishop doesn't go back, the bishop stays here, and maybe something like h4. And now, I don't know, maybe a5, h5, knight to d7, takes, maybe even some crazy move with bishop to here. And if knight takes, then we could have rook takes, king takes, and queen here. No, this doesn't work. It's just the queen attacking. So something like this doesn't work right now. But yeah, black is preparing to go f5 here in this position. Simon, you don't want to sit beside me?
No.
Why not? Don't go away, Simon. Stay here.
Neither.
He's just joking. He's not saying this. Simon is just joking. Okay, I will smoke a cigarette now. Finish my cigarette with a lighter, probably. Where is the lighter? Simon, do you have a lighter?
This here.
Look.
Where's the liquid?
Okay, we have to move a5. After queen to d2, we have to move a5, so we don't have this kind of stuff. We have to move queen d2 and now a5. So probably, wait, what? Should be black's move, isn't it? Oh, no, not rook e8, so a5. Bishop to h6, probably here in this position. Do you say? Bishop h6 looks pretty normal to exchange this strong dark square bishop from black.
Yes, maybe.
What is Brainfish calculating? Brainfish is calculating castling queenside. Yeah, this you can always play. Then maybe continue with the move a4. Maybe threatening to go even further to a3, so maybe stopping this with a3. And then bishop to d7. Or not this would let's white fork the pieces. So maybe even e5, followed by d5, followed by knight to e7, followed by bishop to d7 and maybe c6 and d4 and b5. So let's see what both engines are coming up with. So let's see. We have the move a3 maybe after a4, and then maybe e5, d5, knight to e7, h4, starting the h-file attack. So maybe now bishop here, h5, and maybe even sacrifice the whole rook, or g4. G4 looks quite good there. Knight maybe goes to f5, and no, not to f5, this would lose a pawn, so the knight should hover back, and now bishop here, maybe exchange it. No, but not exchange it, because now the threat of g5 is pretty strong and you'd have to do something against this. But also now bishop takes, it threatens. So for example, something by black, then bishop takes, king takes, queen h6 check, king goes back, and after g5 black is lost, because you just push away the defender of the h7 square, and this is going to be checkmate. So probably not something like this. So after h4, h5, you just ignore this probably, but this looks pretty fast for white. This looks pretty fast. Maybe you could take with the h pawn, but then g5, again trying to open up lines. Takes, takes, knight takes. Now knight f3. No, knight d2 I will play. Knight e2. Knight takes, queen takes, c6. Queen here threatening mate, so h6. And now the knight could come to f5 or to h4, and this is also pretty strong for white. Knight coming to h4 here. So let's see what, maybe this a4 idea is just a little too slow for black, and you can just castle. Also possible is to move knight to e2. Yeah, Brainfish played the knight to e2. So followed by g4, g5. Put the bishop on the long diagonal maybe, or maybe even knight g4 and knight g3 and put the bishop somewhere on this diagonal. So for example a4, g4, a6, b3. Are there some sacrifices? I don't know. Looks interesting to me. Black has this form pawn, but white's attack is also pretty fast. So probably e5, this would be a normal move. d5, knight to e7, knight to g3, b4, you want to prepare b4, bishop here, h4. Yeah, and this position looks also pretty strong for white, so that's why Crafty isn't going for this. Crafty, after the move knight g2 e2, is going for the move b6. Maybe preparing to fianchetto the bishop. But now e5, and where is the knight going? Maybe the knight hovers in here. Now a3. Knight goes to a6, probably to c5. So probably you just let the knight stay here on b4 and continue with your attack with g4. Bishop here or bishop there even to attack this pawn. Knight to g3. Now the bishop is defending the pawn. And now maybe rook to c1, to c8. Let's see, rook to g8, c6, knight here, pawn takes, attacking the bishop now. So if, for example, taking there, then you have to move rook takes maybe, followed by bishop here, and queen there, but then you can defend via that move. So the rook sacrifice doesn't work, but after takes you can just move the bishop there. Now the bishop is attacked twice and it's pinned, so you'd have to go something like this. But after queen here, it's all over. I don't see a defense here for white, for black. So probably you cannot take the knight. So just take here. Knight takes on g7. King takes on g7. Maybe no, you don't want to lose a pawn. Maybe takes here. Now bishop takes bishop, king takes bishop, and yeah, this position should be better for white, but I don't know. We have a move, we don't have this kind of continuation. We have the move knight ge2, now b6. Now d6, no b6. h4, d6 and h5. Yeah, we have this h-file attack now, which is pretty strong. If knight takes, then this kind of continuation with g4 and bishop there. And if takes, then there is this terrible threat of g4, g5, and you cannot defend against this. So this crude h-file attack seems pretty strong. Let's see both evaluations. Crafty thinks white is better, and Brainfish thinks white is much better. So probably something went wrong here for black already. Yeah, I think this h4 is a pretty strong move. You cannot really take this pawn, but you cannot really... Okay, we have this takes, and now g4 I will play, followed by bishop here to h6. So I don't think this game lasts for long, because it seems already pretty over for black. What to do after g4? Knight has to go back to f6, and then bishop h6 seems crushing. Where is the defense? Probably something like rook to e8. Bishop takes, king takes, queen here check. h3, h5, g5. Knight hovers back here. Queen takes, king here, queen here, king here. Yeah, okay, you got back the pawn and your king is in the center, so maybe there is even something better here. For example, I don't know, knight f4 maybe. Then any move, for example bishop here takes, Knight takes with check. You have to take the knight. Now queen here, check. King has to move somewhere, it doesn't really matter. And this is gonna be checkmate. So probably knight f4 also a good move. After all of this. Knight to f4. Maybe taking here first. And only then play knight f4. Yeah. And if king here trying to run away, then this is gonna be checkmate because the pawn is pinned to the king, and the knight is also protecting this square, and yeah. But here you might even have after knight f4. No, you have to play knight f4 immediately because otherwise the g pawn would hang. So yeah, we'll make a short break and I'll be back in a second. Ja, komm später, aber du kannst da vorbeischauen. Das Simon ist auch da. Wo bist du gerade? Okay, ja, ich mache gerade ein Schachvideo, also recht lang zum Telefonieren habe ich nicht. Mach dich einfach auf dem Weg nach Wien und melde dich dann, wenn du da bist. Wenn du da bist. Ja, okay, passt. Bis dann. Ah, ja, okay, passt. Bis dann. Ciao. So, I'm back. We have the move bishop to h6, of course, which is a very strong move. Here, bishop to h6. And now what? Now maybe rook e8. Bishop takes, queen here, check. And this kind of continuation followed by knight f4. And it seems pretty over. It seems over for black. This is a lost position. This h-file attack is just crushing. And this line seems to be pretty forced. And if black wants to survive this, black has to give up some material, because if you try something like this, then queen takes, followed by knight takes, queen here, and rook here, checkmate. So, and I don't see a defense against this. So maybe, yeah, rook e8 seems kind of forced. And then g4, knight here. Oh, if knight f4, okay, knight f4 doesn't work immediately because you can defend with knight f8. So probably you have to take this pawn immediately. And yeah, but then after knight f4, yeah, it still works, because if the queen takes there, then we have this fork. Black has to take and not here, not check, but here the king can run away. So it's not that clear. It's not that clear. So queen takes, king here. Maybe the queen goes back with a check, and now knight f4. Threaten the g pawn. You'd have to defend the g pawn. I don't know, maybe black can still survive this somehow. What do you think? Can black survive this attack, or is it over?
I think it's pretty over.
Yeah, I also think it's pretty over. But let's see how. Yeah, we have this move bishop take. We have the move rook e8, and now we have the move bishop takes g7 as in my analysis.
This is the end game, huh?
No, this is the middle game. This is a pretty strong attack by white here. Maybe you see a fast checkmate here. because I don't see a defense here. The king will land in the center. And this h-file attack was pretty nice. So probably king takes now. Followed by queen h6, king g8, and castling queenside. h6, king h8. Okay, let's see. Yeah, king takes g7 is kind of forced, isn't it? Because otherwise black would be down a piece, so you'd have to take back the piece. Have you some question about this game? What would you play after king takes g7?
No idea.
No idea? Is this check not kind of good looking here? Not queen here, but the check right there. Followed by king g8 and g4 to get back the pawn with check. This seems pretty, because the knight has to move. Not taking there with check. King here. Yeah, the problem is this pawn is attacked, so otherwise knight f4 seems pretty strong, but this pawn is still attacked, so you'd have to do something against this. So probably something like rook to g1, not rook to h4, rook to g1. For example, any move here, bishop here, now knight f4. I don't know, maybe I just want to show you something. And now you could take here, give a check, and if black goes there, then you'd have a cute checkmate with queen here. Yep, there was not the best moves by black here I played, but I just want to show you something. We have this check. And now king to g8 I will play. After this you could also block it, I just see it right now, so maybe g4 is not the best move, because here you can just block it with the knight. So maybe castling here is quite good. Okay, we have to move king h8. King h8. And now maybe castling. Yeah, we have to move castles by Brainfish. And now black has to find some counterplay on the queen side. Very interesting position. Brainfish is down a pawn, but has a strong attack. And it's Crafty's move now. Maybe breaking in the center with d5. But this seems to lose a pawn. You cannot go d5 here. And yeah, but what else to do? Maybe bishop to h6 to attack this pawn right here. To a6. Okay, we have another move. Crafty is going for the defense. Is going for knight to e7. Probably following up with knight to g8 to kick the queen from the square. And yeah, I don't see a crush through here. Maybe knight to f4 now, so that you can, after this, you can take here with check. Okay, we have the move e5. e5. e5 is also interesting. Kicking the knight. Takes would be a double attack on the knight and the queen. Just show you that. If you take there, you take back, attacking the knight, attacking the queen. And you cannot move this knight. So knight here attacking the queen. And where is the queen going? Probably here. Now you still cannot move the knight because of this mate threat. So black is losing a piece there. And after this it seems to be pretty over. Yeah, this e5 move was pretty good. I just want to see both evaluations. But I think it's over for black. I think really now it's over for black. We have +3 and +4.7, so it's really over for black. Yeah, I don't see a defense. Black is losing a piece there. Yeah, this h-file attack was pretty crushing. Followed by e5. So this is how you play the semish of the King's Indian when black doesn't find the best moves. What do you say about this game? Was it a good game? White is winning here.
Yes, I think it was a good game.
Yeah, we have the move queen to h4. And black cannot move the knight here. Okay, black plays g4. Desperate move. Just to again attack the queen. But you don't take the pawn. You just move the queen back somewhere. You could also maybe take the pawn, but why not just play queen here? Okay. Brainfish took the pawn. But now you can move the knight. Where's the knight going? Has only one square. This one. Now maybe even something like rook takes works. Followed by this check. No, I don't see this working, but now the knight could go back to d7. Yeah, but after queen here, for example, then h3. Yeah, and it seems to be done. Taking there. And then queen here maybe. The queen goes back. I don't know, then the attack is kind of over. So you really don't wanna take this pawn. But this one or that one. That one also looks kind of good. Just defending the pawn that way. But now maybe knight f4. And some random move, for example bishop here, and it seems to be done. Queen takes here. I don't know, let's see how this is gonna unveil. Queen h5 we will have probably. Queen h5 and now knight to f6. Queen h5, h6 or knight to f8. Let's go with h6 and maybe something like g4. You cannot take because the pawn is pinned, and white is kind of threatening to take here. So maybe rook here to defend the pawn. Now pawn takes, f3, f6. I don't know. Let's see. Here we have the move queen h5, threatening checkmate. So Crafty is calculating knight f8. This is the other move to defend this. But now Crafty played the move knight f8. So now all of black's pieces are on the back rank. And black is not even up on material. So this seems to be over. White can just take the f7 pawn or play knight f4. This move also good. Kind of threatening to take the f7 pawn followed by a knight here check. So maybe defend this with rook to here. But Crafty is planning some counter attack. Bishop here attacking this pawn. But not just queen here. Takes there maybe. Knight here check. Knight takes, queen takes, threatening mate. So you'd have to take the rook. But now the queen is also hanging, so this kind of doesn't work. So you kind of have to defend this pawn. So maybe bishop to d7 or bishop to d3. Bishop to d3 looks also quite good. Bishop to d3, so that if takes, then you'd have this bishop takes there, and if you take any rook, this one for example, then you just take back, and I don't see a defense here anymore. There is a bishop discovery. Also this pawn is hanging, followed by knight here. Maybe the king runs in here. But then just g4. Followed by any move, for example c5, and maybe here you can sacrifice the queen even. No, not pawn takes. Not pawn takes, maybe rook takes, but then you don't have a mate, so you cannot sacrifice the queen there. Yeah, but you can just take the piece here, because black cannot take back because of this mate. So king here doesn't work, and this is the threat now, to take off this bishop, this knight. So maybe taking the rook doesn't work, so you'd have to play something like h3, but then just take the pawn, threatening knight here, maybe. So rook here for example, knight here, knight takes, queen takes, bishop takes there, takes, knight takes, queen takes, going here, check. Yeah, we have the move h6. I just search for something here, but I don't see it. You could maybe go for a draw, check here, but then you lose the bishop. But then you maybe survive this with queen f8. So this doesn't seem to be right, this rook sacrifice. So if you take here, then maybe this check winning the bishop after all. So maybe you don't play You play queen here, check, and now you take there. Okay, this square is also defended by the knight, but okay, you can maybe go. Oh, okay, we have a move. After h6 we have the move knight to e5, bringing even more attackers. So what's the threat? a4. Maybe knight here is a threat. If takes, then you take there. And if you go there, then it's a mate. So you'd have to block with a knight. But then just bishop takes knight, followed by some discovery. So this is kind of the threat. So that's why black just took the knight. And now of course bishop takes, attacking the rook. Rook moves. And now queen takes there, followed by knight here. Check, you'd have to take it. Queen takes. Yeah, but what is the threat? Taking. Knight takes. Queen takes. Okay, let's put a random move again. Maybe now rook takes works. Takes, knight takes, queen takes. Here. And rook to h1. Maybe now again a token move. And rook here is gonna be checkmate. So you don't have this kind of token move. Mate is threatened, and how to parry this. If you go here, yeah, then it's the same kind of stuff. You just give a couple of checks and it's followed by mate. So you'd have to go there, maybe with the queen, but then bishop take, bishop check. I don't know, queen here seems to be pretty normal. Okay, but we have different move. Black just gives up the rook. Queen e7 to defend here. This I want to analyze later. And now maybe g5. g5 would come anyway, I guess. So you cannot take here. D takes e5 is the move calculated. Now just d takes e5. And now what to do against all of these threats? Crafty is planning rook a to d8 now. Can you sacrifice the queen? Here, check. King has to go anywhere. Check again. King here. Check again. King here. But you can also take the bishop, so you cannot sacrifice the queen. Let's see both evaluations again. I think it's pretty dead lost here. +4 by Crafty and +10 or maybe +11 by Brainfish. So this seems to be over, but I don't really see a breakthrough there. g5, d takes, rook d8, maybe rook g8 now, some token move, queen takes, knight takes, rook takes, king here, g4. I don't know if you can sacrifice the queen even there, but you can take with the pawn. Play maybe rook here to here. Yeah, well, this knight is still defending the square. We have the move d takes e5. Let's see how this gonna unveil. I have the move d takes e5. Yeah, but white's position, it looks pretty crushing, but I don't see a breakthrough. Queen c5 is calculated, but then here, just queen here. Takes with check. Queen here. And now the threat is knight here check, followed by this move. And now there is no defense against queen to h7. Well, maybe there is. So we have the move rook to d8 instead of queen c5. Queen c5 would be weird. Rook d8, queen g1 probably, just to add even more attackers. Maybe now g3 is a threat. Let's see about g6. If you take it, knight takes, rook takes, attacking this pawn right there. And you kind of cannot defend with this. Just takes. Queen takes. Queen takes. Takes. I don't know. Maybe you can even go for something like this, but it seems pretty hopeless. Rook takes. Queen here. Rook takes knight. Discovered attack on the queen. And if queen takes, then queen takes here, followed by checkmate. So you kind of have to take with the king, but then your queen is falling, and this is also leading to checkmate soon. Check. Only square, and now checkmate. So it doesn't really matter. So you cannot make a token move because g3 is threatened, g6 is threatened, but how to stop g6? How to stop the move g6? Rook g1 we have, and how to stop the move g6? Okay, we have the move knight to g6. Queen takes g6 is calculated. So wow, queen takes g6, pawn takes g6, knight here check, king has to go there, knight takes queen check, pawn takes, double check. There's a double check. Could go there maybe. But then after this, the knight funnily has no squares to go to. So you kind of lose the knight here. This is a funny continuation. And after you lose the knight, you're down a piece. So let's see if we have queen takes g6, pawn takes g6, knight takes here, king here, takes. king here. The king could also go there, but then h7, the knight still has no squares. And if you move, then you get a queen. Otherwise, you threaten to take the knight with queening. So probably rook here, but then just get a new queen. Rook take. Yeah, okay. We don't have to analyze this. This is lost. And so king h8, but this one just wins a piece. This just wins a piece. So queen takes g6 is kind of very strong. So again, queen takes, pawn takes, knight takes, check, queen, king here is calculating that move, check. If knight takes, then we have this discovered check, winning the queen. Followed by winning the knight. So for example, knight takes, check. It's a double. It's a check. So where is the king going? Probably king here. And now rook takes. Rook takes. Rook here, check, and you're again up a piece. So black is really losing a piece there. So if you don't take, and if you don't take the pawn, okay, where to go? Probably going here with the king. Check. King takes and pawn here. Again, the knight has no squares. So it's kind of over after queen takes g6. Yeah, queen takes g6 is a monster move. Sacrificing the queen, and then it's all over. Let's see both evaluations again. We have +8 and a mate in 15 calculated by Brainfish, so it's even worse than with depth 46. Wow. Okay, but why didn't he play the move if he finds the mate in 15? Let's see. Simon, keiner Chick, komm. Okay, we don't have the move queen. Takes g6. Would be winning. Queen takes g6. But we have this one first. This one might be better. And now Crafty resigned the game. Okay, but queen takes g6 would be a really great finisher, but also pawn takes h3, and now it's all over. Okay, thanks for watching and see you next time. No, wait, I'll just show you the game now. From the beginning, we have the move e4. And how long did they play theory? Knight here, queen here, a5. a5 is not to be recommended. g4 there, this attack is just strong. Yeah, and here black resigned. So thanks for watching and see you next time. Ciao.